Yo, what is up, Cosmic Origins family? Good to see you guys. It's been a couple months here. I'm glad to be back. I've been hard at work on a lot of projects, building my business out, helping my family expand and grow, and it's just been a lot of kind of personal life stuff that I've been working on. So I'm glad to be back doing a live stream on YouTube to hang out and chill, talk about whatever, talk about some crypto stuff, talk about some 17 stuff, and just kind of have a good time and chill, hang out. I'm gonna make a quick post on my Instagram right now, and then we can jump into it. Can you guys give me a 5 for 5 in the chat if my volume and everything is all good? And I'm gonna make a quick post on my Instagram story real quick. Check. Okay, cool. I see a 5 for 5. Good. Yo, what's up, guys? I am live on YouTube right now to talk about some crypto stuff, to have an open Q&A, and just hang out. If you want to come join the live stream on YouTube, just click that link right here, and let's hang out and have some fun. How have you guys been? Getting through the thick of the storm. It's really like we're in the storm, isn't it? It's like we're in the eye of the storm, almost, is what it feels like. Like we're in this bit of peacefulness, and I think things are about to move in a direction. I don't know what direction, but it feels like we're about to move in a direction, because something's got to give. I mean, there's so much pressure, so much tension in the geopolitical sphere. Crypto, finances, disclosure, new 17 posts, like, whoo, there's a lot of social pressure right now for things to crack open, and I feel like we're in this really optimal period for experiencing things on the planet right now. You know what I mean? Let me finish making this post real quick. Okay, cool. And I think we posted on Telegram. So we got Telegram, Instagram. All right, should be good. I want to show you guys this cool thing. I just posted this on Instagram if you were watching there, but I just got this lighter in the mail that I ordered for my birthday, which was a couple weeks ago, but it just came. It was the only thing I really decided to get myself, and it was one of those, gimmicky Instagram ads, but it was just so dope. Golden Dragon lighter. So let's see if we can get it to work. Sometimes it works well, other times it doesn't work too great. There we go. So cool. It's just fascinating. I love cool things like this, especially when they're related to gold and dragons and things like that. And then synchronistically, I find these old prom pictures of myself the other day. Alexis pulled them out of the closet, and one of the prom photos is called Night of the Golden Dragon. So that, and then this came, got some dragon energy going on. But yeah, welcome to everyone popping in right now. Feeling good, the Anunnaki DNA getting activated, says Woke One. Love that. I feel like there has been a lot more of that Anunnaki, or whatever you'd want to call them, energy coming through. A lot of disclosure. That's a good thing to talk about. That's been coming up a lot for me lately. The history of the giants on the earth coming forward and it becoming more and more mainstream. I was just watching this video yesterday about how they found all these giant skeletons on Catalina Island, which is just off the coast of Southern California. I've been there a number of times and never saw any giants, but they dug up when they were first kind of colonizing it in modern times. Who is it? Wrigley, the guy who made Wrigley's gum, Wrigley Jr. He has this whole energy there. He's got this big temple. If you guys have ever been to Catalina Island, you know what I'm talking about. It's energy wise, it's the way that the energy flows into Avalon Bay and then into Island. It ends in this temple. So there's something weird going on with the Wrigley temple. But I guess Wrigley hired these guys to go and dig up these old skeletons, and they were finding 8-9 foot skeletons on Catalina Island. And the natives on the island, the Native Americans, the few that still remain that are actually native from the island, talk about how they're in their lore, when they were kids, basically their grandparents, it was very commonplace fact that there were giants that lived with the natives on the island, and that they were fair-skinned, essentially white people with beards that were either black or red. And there's so many accounts of these kind of bearded giant beings all over the world, red, ginger bearded, or black bearded. And I think that they're all a part of these groups that people would call Anunnaki, or that I've called the Aesir. Mateus de Stefano calls them the Aesir. But this is something that's coming forward, and that is really coming, I'm noticing, into the collective consciousness and activating this history of giants on the planet, and the biblical giants and everything. It's all related. So I feel that for sure, Woke One. Oh yeah, Oddity says CERN cranking on full blast July 5th, strongest setting yet. Yeah, I don't know if you caught some of my comments on my Instagram or Telegram, but I was just talking about the other day, and how I might be an unpopular opinion, but I feel like that CERN turning on might actually be a really good thing for the timeline and for the planet. And if you're like, whoa, how? That doesn't make any sense. Let me explain myself. So, CERN obviously is the group that runs the Large Hadron Collider, or the LHC, in Switzerland. And it's supposedly, who knows really, but supposedly the largest particle collider on the planet. And I don't need to tell you guys, but you guys know they've obviously been messing with some stuff with that technology. There's a lot more going on if you think like Stranger Things vibes and things like that, as far as timeline manipulation. And I've heard like dark matter and potential experimentation as well. But even just as far as the frequency of timeline manipulation, I feel like CERN over the past, however many years it's been active has kind of, Joel says, concerning. Yeah, that's a good one. Nice, man. I like that. I'm going to have to use that. So CERN's obviously like, most people feel that they are doing something weird in the past, and they've thrown us in this weird direction timeline-wise, and it could account for a lot of the Mandela effects, although I believe Mandela effect is also outside of CERN, just a natural thing that we're experiencing. Let me throw some stuff around real quick. That was just my, hold on. Just threw my iTaurus off the table. I've got this little iTaurus going, giving off some frequencies, healing frequencies, electromagnetic therapy. Anyway, CERN, I feel like might actually be turning on for the better this time. And I say that because about a year ago, there were many individuals, whistleblowers, channelers, different kind of areas of people discussing how CERN was going to be coming back online in the near future. Again, this was about a year ago. And they were saying that, it initially would kind of freak people out, like the masses, because people are waking up to this, but that actually what they were going to be doing was that, more positive groups had essentially maintained control of CERN and the collider. And since these positive groups took control, they, I guess, realized, according to these individuals, that they would have to use CERN to undo the damage that had been done by CERN. So if you think about the timeline, if you think about the universe as like a living machine in a way, right? It's the universe is God, it's the ultimate being. So when they took technology and they manipulated that divine nature of the timeline and of the earth, it took technology to do that. It took technology to spin us in that negative direction. So, yin and yang, balance-wise, it makes sense. It would only take that technology undoing what it did to get us back to where we were. Or at least that, as far as the healing of the planet and the healing of the collective timeline, it would require, or it wouldn't require necessarily, but it would expedite the process of that healing to use the technology to undo the damage the technology had done in the first place. So with that being said, what's up, dude? The Blano, welcome. That being said, I think that this is what's going to be happening, and I think that we could actually see some major positive events going on over the next couple months, next year, next few years, next few decades with this happening. And, I even got this vision that CERN, everything's a technology, right? Not everything, but everything kind of is. But, everything that's a technology is inherently unpolarized and has the ability to be polarized. So whether it's the internet, whether it's crypto, whether it's CERN, whether it's a car, whatever, whether it's a stick, you can use a stick for good or evil, right? You can cook with a stick and feed people with it, or you could beat people with it. Same goes for any technology. So with CERN, I feel like that there is a possibility that they can use it as a frequency protector of the planet. In the same way, actually, how ironic, I never thought about this, but this is like a mini CERN, right? So what this does, this is a pulsed electromagnetic frequency device, PEMF, pulsed electromagnetic frequencies. These are confirmed by science to actually have healing properties. They've done a number of studies, and even the National Health Institute and stuff acknowledges that pulsed electromagnetic frequencies have healing effects on the body. So if we know this works and this can affect, it can positively increase circulation, nerve pain, it can target certain meridians of the body based on different frequencies. You can just look up how frequencies affect the body. And the way this works is it's plugged into basically an MP3 player that's playing the frequency into this. So if I unplug this, you can actually hear the pulsed frequency, and it's putting that into this Tesla coil, which is then, if you take a little magnet and hold it up to here, you can feel the pulse. So what you could hear with the iPod, I can feel that with this magnet, and it's like duh, 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 duh. So this is basically a mini CERN, right? This is basically it's not a particle collider in the traditional sense, but it is a vortex frequency device, just like CERN is. We're taking electromagnetic energies, we're spinning them really fast. CERN, who knows? CERN might even be in the shape of a Tesla coil. We don't really know. I got this at iPyramid's website. They're a company based here in Sedona, and I know the guy that runs it, and they're not sponsoring this or anything. I wish I was an affiliate. I'm actually going to look into becoming an affiliate with them, but this is called the iTaurus, and I believe their website is ipyramids.com. But if you just look up iPyramids and iTaurus, you'll find this. And they're not cheap, but they do work. The first time that I ever wore one, I could tell that and I wore a smaller one the first time, like a mobile one, and I could tell it helped a lot with like anxiety and psychic protection and things like that even. So if we picture this as like a mini CERN, then if this has the ability to heal my body and affect anything within a 6-foot radius, which is what they advertise scientifically, then imagine what CERN could do. If this has a 6-foot radius, what can CERN do? Good and bad, right? But we're looking at the positive right now because the negatives already happened. We're going to move past that. In the positive, this could literally provide a protection grid around the planet that could create, what I'm feeling is that it could create catalyst reactions of positive events in the collective timeline that could affect everything from crypto to disclosure to ET contact to just the general healing of the mind, body, and spirit of the people on the planet in general. So yeah, thank you, Alexis, for posting that. Appreciate that. There's the link for the iPyramids, ipyramids.net. So yeah, CERN, maybe not so concerning, but some other pun where it's a good thing. So yeah, that's coming up July 5th. That's pretty soon. And I've been feeling intuitively and synchronistically that I don't like to put any predictions out there. I'm not trying to make a prediction at all, but I feel that the XRP-led bull run is very close, and very close could be this summer, could be next summer. I'm feeling a summer energy though. And if this thing with CERN happens and this actually does create positive catalysts in the timeline, as a theory, then we could see that interact with the crypto space and XRP and the other assets that we talk about really booming. But what I'm really feeling is that we're going to be getting a new NFT craze that's centered around NFTs on the XRP ledger instead of on Ethereum, right? So right now, all the NFT stuff, whether you love or hate NFTs, it's all been on Ethereum, which is why I haven't really gotten into it that much. There's NFTs that we've talked about like on Sologenic and things like that, but as a whole, the NFT space is really like centered around Ethereum at the moment, and the mainstream projects like the apes and the CryptoPunks, there's I've been outspoken about my feelings about those projects likely being involved in some nefarious stuff, money laundering, potential trafficking around, JPEGs that are worth millions of dollars. Seems like a pretty easy way to traffic and launder money. And I just posted a video actually in my Telegram channel. If you don't follow it, t.me/cosmic origins. Is that what the link is? I think that's what it is. I never actually remember. Cosmic Origins on Telegram. I'm the only one, I'm pretty sure. And I posted this video exposing the group behind Bored Ape Yacht Club. I didn't make this, someone else made it, but I reposted it. And all the Nazi symbolism that is inherent in the Bored Ape NFT collection, and racism and all this stuff. But really, like, there's this really core Nazi energy to it. So I think that what's going to happen is we're going to be getting a new NFT craze that is not associated with all this black market Ethereum shady stuff, but an actual legitimate, also like mainstream, inevitably mainstream backed in a good way, because I think we're moving into the positive mainstream timelines of our experience here on Earth. Mainstream backed NFTs on the XRP ledger. And one of the proofs of this is that Michael Jordan is, I think it's Michael Jordan, correct me if I'm wrong, not so great with basketball. Michael Jordan's going to be getting an NFT collection on the XRP ledger that they've been advertising for like 6 months now. And then Lotus Cars, I just saw Lotus, the exotic car company, is now making NFTs on the XRP ledger, or they will be. And it's not even out yet. Like, you can't make NFTs on XRP yet, but even Ripple has been really amping up their NFT capabilities that will be coming, assumably sometime within the next 6 to 12 months. And I think that we're going to be getting a huge craze. I mean, can you imagine if, okay, just take a look at what's been going on with these Bored Ape NFTs and Ethereum and all that stuff, and how big that's blown up without kind of the, mainstream push in the institutional way, right? In the kind of commercial corporate way. But we've had the mainstream push in the kind of like celebrity, like pseudo celebrity kind of way, where a lot of these rappers and people are doing the Bored Ape thing. And look how big that's gotten. So now imagine with, big basketball stars, with big car companies, with the banking and government, connections that'll be behind these too. I feel like it's gonna be this whole new wave that is really going to expose the Nazi connections and those other things behind Ethereum and Bitcoin as well, the Chinese control over them, all that stuff. And, maybe that won't be until next year. Who knows? Could even be. Like I said, I don't like making date predictions because it's not about the dates. It's about seeing what's going to happen and acting now before it actually happens, right? So we can take full advantage of these opportunities. And, the longer it takes, the better is the way I see it, because the more opportunity we have to actually capitalize and invest and grow and build this new generation of finances and decentralized currencies and things that ultimately are going to help us serve the planet and serve the evolution of growth, of spiritual growth on the planet. That's my ultimate goal behind all this, and what I intend on using this energy for, and this abundance, is for creating new, whether they're companies or decentralized projects or whatever, creating new energy here on Earth that's going to help heal the planet, help bring about the hidden truths of the planet, help activate our dormant abilities that have, been oppressed for so long. To me, the money is cool. Having money is great, but like, that is the core intention behind what this financial shift is about, and taking advantage of this financial shift and being a being that is service to others and helping the planet and the humans on Earth and the Earth itself grow and expand and heal. So Joel says Vitalik is too powerful. He can't be stopped. That's the if you don't know, that's the guy who runs Ethereum. I don't know. I feel like a couple more videos of him dancing and he might be stopped. I mean, the videos that have come out of Vitalik are just like embarrassing, and I feel like he's like an MK Ultra kind of victim as well. I mean, if you compare Vitalik to David Schwartz and Brad Garlinghouse, I mean, there's such a different energy, right? And that's where I encourage people too, when they're doing their own research and intuitively finding their path and their understandings of things, to not only look at what's on the surface in terms of these projects, because a lot of people can look at XRP, Ripple, and very easily label it as like a new world order thing. especially when you look at the banking and government connections. It's very easy to go, oh, Ripple's a part of the World Economic Forum, they must be evil, right? It's not that black and white, and I think people like to be able to think very direct and simply like that and place things into easy labels and containers to label things. But the facts are that things are so not black and white here on this earth plane right now. You know, we have the polarities of the black and white, but everything in between is this weird mixture of gray, right? So I think it's important to not just look at things on the surface level, but really dive into the energies behind them. And for me, that involves looking at looking at, you know, if you want to call it the Akash, or if you want to call it remote viewing, or just meditating on it, but looking at it from that spiritual perspective first and foremost, and tapping into what resonates with you. And whenever I kind of share that with people, and when people share that back with me, when they've tapped into that, the XRP Ripple thing is always a positive. That's what I've received back from people, at least feedback wise, is that they're always getting a positive association with it from spirit. And to me, that's the most important thing. Like, above all the 3D facts research stuff, that connection with spirit and what God is telling you about, you know, whatever, is more important than what things look like on the surface, I think. But then, you know, when you dive into the research of it as well, like I said, it's easy to look at these various groups like Ripple and say, oh, they're connected to the banks, they're connected to whatever. I think that, you know, there's a lot more going on. There's Trojan horse energies going on. This is a spiritual war. So there's multi-dimensional, you know, we could say chess games being played out. So yeah, what's up, Matthew? Good to see you, man. Welcome, Roxy. Welcome, Unscripted. What are your guys' thoughts about all that? About the Ripple kind of, you know, the generic public, or like, you know, especially the Bitcoin kind of people looking at Ripple and XRP and saying, oh, it's, you know, it's centralized, or which it's not, or it's, you know, it's the New World Order, they're working with the banks or whatever. I'm curious your guys' feedback, because I'm always trying to get more feedback from people and you know, getting to the truth. But yeah, what I was going to say is, you know, Joel in the chat, he brought up Vitalik. That's the other thing, is looking at the energies of the people who are running these projects. That's really important to me. That's probably like number 2 behind just the direct connection with God or spirit, and checking in with that. But when you look at the people and the energies of the people that are the founders and the current CEOs and stuff, Vitalik, who runs Ethereum, and shall we just say the Chinese who run Bitcoin, but especially Vitalik who runs Ethereum, he doesn't have a great vibe. Like, it's not the same vibe as when you watch people like Brad Garlinghouse and David Schwartz, and they have this like very stoic, real, like transparent, but yet mystic, but like transparent energy to them. And I get such a good vibe from those two in particular, Brad Garlinghouse and David Schwartz, compared to really anyone else in the space. And for me, that's a really important thing. Watching interviews with these people, like really understanding where they're coming from, reading their heart energy, reading their like crown chakra, reading their whole vibe and aura, and you know, applying that contextually to the rest of everything else that we're noticing going on. Welcome to the people that are just joining in. If you haven't seen my awesome new lighter, I'll show you again, because it's just too cool not to show you. Whoa. Pretty badass, right? It'd be cooler if it was like real gold. That's my goal. Once crypto goes to the moon, I'm going to be buying some real gold. There's just I mean, I already have some gold, like my ring is gold, but there's something about gold that is, it's just so powerful alchemically, you know? And that's another one of the reasons that I like XRP, because I think it's going to increase the availability and the liquidity and enhance gold and precious metals, which I like because I love gold. I mean, it's got such a good vibe to it, you know? There's a reason that it's been so heavily sought after, aside from just the the physical wealth aspect of it. There's an alchemical nature to it that if you know how to work with it, if you remember how to work with it, if you've worked with it in past lives, it's I've noticed for myself at least, is it's something that has allowed me to tap into my past lives and remember more from, my energies beyond this body. It's a very powerful thing. And I think that, when it comes to all this, like, whether you want to call it stolen money or money that's been held, gold that's been held by these dynasty families, by these secret societies, that gold, I think that my vote for humanity is that we use this gold, not just store it in a bank, not just have it in some vault where it's never going to see the light of day, because what's the point of that? But actually put this gold to use as a healing tool, as an alchemical piece of magic that can be used to heal and grow humanity. And I want to see like big temples made of gold. I want to see like every city have like an awesome, beautiful temple made of solid gold that all the people in the city can go to and visit for free and pray and meditate and let that gold enhance the aura and heal the people. I want to see gold pyramids. I don't want to see the gold like locked away in vaults and in people's, basements and stuff. It's a waste, in my opinion. So that's one of my goals, is to figure out ways to get the gold in physical use for the people, aside from the monetary aspect, but from the healing aspect and from the alchemical aspect. I think that's really powerful and important. Angelito in the chat says, I think the idea of Ripple having Illuminati connections is alluring. Whether it's true or not, it makes me attracted to it, but it could be why some people would want to run away, far away from it. And I agree, and I think that this is one of those divine things that is, one of the reasons why people are either guided to XRP very strongly spiritually, or they're just like, oh, I don't feel that. That's not for me. I think there's a reason for that. I don't think that, this transfer of wealth that we're going to see is going to be everybody on the planet getting rich. I don't think that's going to happen. I think eventually that's our goal, is, working towards bringing that wealth to the entire planet. But it's going to be a step-by-step basis, where I think first we'll have the financial system flip on itself. People like us will be put into positions, or will not be put, but will be, all of a sudden putting ourselves in these positions of empowerment and of the, not power, but empowerment, which to me, the difference is, empowerment is how you take that same energy, but you use it to help others, and you use it to help the planet and your country and, whatever. Power being the opposite, you use it for power over others. And so I think people like us will come into these positions of empowerment, where we're going to be able to have a lot more influence over our personal vote on the direction of the things on the planet. And instead of it being this select group of, elite dynasty families who have done things the same way for thousands of years and kept people enslaved in the same ways for thousands of years, now we're going to have people who have been here for thousands of years, who have, been very experienced on Earth and have been watching very carefully, and are now, okay, now basically the time's up, and no more playing your funny game anymore. The real grown-ups are going to come in and set things right. And I think that it's up to us. There's not going to be any savior figures. There's not going to be, even though I like T and I like Elon and these other people, they're not saviors, right? Just plain and simple. They're not going to save anybody. They've got their role to play in what they're doing and how they're helping the planet. And so do we. And I genuinely think that it's going to be people like us that are going to come into way more money than we've ever even fathomed is possible. And with that, we will be able to change the planet and work towards dismantling these old systems and building the ones that are more conducive for humanity and for the earth and its preservation and expansion. So yeah, like Joel says, we're going to have a lot of responsibility. Like Uncle Ben says, with great power comes great responsibility, right? So that's what I love to see too, is that like everyone I know that has XRP has some amazing plan for what they're going to do with it. And in my coaching program in particular, we talk about this. We've talked about like what everyone plans to do with their wealth when they have it, right? Like what, and everyone's got something. Everyone's got like some amazing, like they want to build a sanctuary, or they want to build houses for the homeless, or they want to, build schools that actually teach our children about things that are important to life. All these different things. And it's like, okay, it's all in potentiation. Now all that has to happen is these, last few steps in the kind of financial system. And all of a sudden, all these people with all these plans, they're not just going to be plans. They're going to be potential energy that can be activated now, right? People are going to have that ability. They're going to be able to build that school. They're going to be able to build those houses. They're going to be able to build that new technology, whatever it is. And I think that that's where we're going to see a rapid shift in what life on planet Earth looks like for being a human. And then with all that, we're going to get the, more and more truths about the past. I don't think it's going to be handed to us on a silver platter, but I think we're going to have to work towards uncovering it, but it won't be actively oppressed in the ways that it used to be. It'll be like a new discovery phase for humanity, where we are really discovering our cosmic origins and our earthly history and everything that's tied into that. So let's take a look at some crypto stuff. So this is this is a website called cryptobubbles.net, if you guys haven't seen it before. And what we're looking at right now is the weekly market for how coins have been doing in the past week. So obviously, if you've been living under a rock maybe, or just not involved in this stuff at all, there was a big crash that happened over the past month, essentially. And now things are kind of starting to recover. Things are starting to come back. I mean, a lot of these coins that are pretty big, like Matic, Polygon, up 52%, Quant is back up 20%. A lot of these are, minimum up 20%, 20 to 50%. So that's a good sign. Let's look at the daily. Daily's more in the red, but that's okay, because overall it's still, I think we're seeing positive direction. As far as to where this could go in the next, couple months, it's really dependent upon what is going on in the geopolitical realm and with Bitcoin. So, I've talked about on this channel, really ever since I started talking about XRP and crypto in general, I've been saying there's going to be a big crash, right? What we're waiting for is this big multi-market crash. Some people call it the Black Swan event. Some people call it the quantum reset. Other people call it the Great Reset, right? I think that there is a possibility, not a certainty, but there's a possibility that we're going to get this huge crash, which it's kind of looking like, we're in the middle of right now at the moment. That is going to potentially need to happen for this financial shift to occur. And that would mean the collapse of the traditional stock market. That would mean the collapse of Bitcoin, likely the collapse of Ethereum, housing, real estate collapse, derivatives, like whatever markets you can think of, right? And that might not need to happen. I don't think that that's like a necessity, but I think it's a likely possibility. And so what we could see is, if we keep going in this direction, that Bitcoin, continues to come down, and the rest of the market's coming down with Bitcoin as it's coming down. And then eventually there will be a decoupling moment where XRP and the other assets that are going to make it through regulation and through these energy shifts are going to decouple and split. So basically we could see everything come down more over the next few weeks, months, or we could see that decoupling happen sooner. It really all depends on like what happens on the world stage. There's so many variables at play, from what's going on with the war in Russia to what's going on with China, the BRICS nations in general, to the SEC lawsuit in the United States against Ripple, and that kind of being the last domino for Ripple having, global interoperability, for XRP having international use cases and truly working as a bridge asset. America kind of needs to be on board with that, and so that's obviously a huge variable. When that happens, I could see a timeline where the lawsuit isn't finished until 2023, which is what it's looking like, because Ripple, the rumor is that Ripple was given a settlement option because the SEC wanted to end it like end of last year, and that Ripple was so confident they turned down the settlement and are going all the way to the end to win because they don't want to settle. They know they're going to win flat out. So that's good news, but it means that it might not be settled until early 2023, mid 2023. And so what would be really interesting is if we get this kind of big bull run based on the XRP NFTs, and despite the lawsuit, the price could decouple from Bitcoin, and we could have another market pump from that even while the lawsuit's happening. And then we would have this really kind of unicorn moment for the masses, I think, as Mr. Poole, the I don't even know how to describe Mr. Poole, but Mr. Poole, if you don't know Mr. Poole, I'm not even going to try to describe it right now, but similar to 17, Mr. Poole has alluded to I just had a major brain fart. Where was I going with that? Yeah, anyways, major brain fart. Maybe someone help me out in the chat. I don't remember why I brought up Poole. But Poole's talked about this big crash. November 20. Yeah. So we could see this situation happen where, we get a big bull run, and it's based off of XRP and NFTs, but the lawsuit isn't settled. Oh, I remember what I was going to say with Poole. Poole said that there would be an opportunity for the masses to invest, that there would be an opportunity where the masses would be given an opportunity to enact upon their basically to take the risk, which I made an Instagram post about this, how risk is necessary for success. And I think that this will be kind of a catalyst initiation for the masses, where the masses could be put in a position where it's obvious XRP and Ripple is going to be doing really well, and yet there's this lawsuit, and wow, what a great opportunity for the masses to invest, as a Wolf of Wall Street guy would say, before the settlement happens, invest before the settlement happens. And so I think we could see that take place where, there's we're going to get the better opportunity because obviously we're here earlier, but the masses will be still given a decent opportunity where they will be able to potentially multiply their life savings because they're going to move it into these assets. And then, as the masses are doing it, it's only going to go up from there. Okay, the Bolano says, do you think 17 is back or it's been compromised? I honestly don't have too much opinion on this yet. I am, when it comes to the new 17 posts, I think it's exciting in the entertainment sense, and it makes me happy from that entertainment standpoint. I'm not really feeling too much one way or the other that it is real or compromised. I'm kind of just observing. I'm leaving space for either to be true, and I guess we will see how it plays out. But I have faith in God, right? So I have faith that no matter what happens, we're on the right path. So whether or not this new 17 post is compromised or it's real or whatever, I feel that it doesn't really matter to me, because my faith is not in 17 itself, it's in God. And if it turns out to be legit and we get a bunch more drops that are legit and they're proved, then fuck yeah, that's awesome and I'm stoked. If not, then I'm not crushed. My hopes aren't, given up for it. yeah, faith in God regardless. So that's where my faith is, and I have full belief that things are going to work out no matter what happens, because God is good and God is gracious, and that's why we're here, right? Joel says, what are the odds that the Supreme Court makes that decision the same day as 17 returns? Yeah, that was crazy. That was pretty crazy. That's what makes me lean toward it being more of a, more likely a legit thing because of the timing of it. And I was just looking at that website like 2 days before they posted, thinking like, I wonder when posts, if they'll come back. So it does make me lean toward that. And then Joel's also saying the same day Flare gets delayed again too. Yes. So let's talk about that. So Flare Networks was supposed to come out 4th of July, and they announced that it is delayed once more. So many delays for the Flare networks. This has been something I've been talking about for a while. I'm still excited for Flare, but I'm not as I'm not like as getting my hopes up on it happening at any particular point. If Flare does turn out to be what I've been hoping it's going to be and what it's being set up to be, then I think it's very likely that there has to be an optimal timing for that release, meaning just for the tokenomics even of how Flare works, it would make more sense that XRP would have to already be mooned. It would already have to be at its optimal, stable price, whatever that is, higher up than it is now for the Flare ecosystem to work properly without any weird stuff happening. So I think it's likely that is a possibility for the delay, that it has to be timed for when XRP sees the sun, if you know what I mean. It's also possible, I would hope that it's not, the case, but it's also possible that there's something shady going on there. And I lean towards the opposite. I lean towards that they are in good faith and that this is something that has to be optimally timed release-wise for it to work. But you never know. So, it's always good. You always question, your beliefs, right? So that's where I'm coming with from that. I'm still supportive of Flare, and I think that they're, it's one of the main components of the coaching program I'm doing, right? Like I definitely still believe in it. And, we're making 30% a year APY right now on Songbird. Myself, Joel here in the chat, who's one of my assistant coaches, and the people in my coaching program right now, just from Songbird alone, we're making 30% plus a year broken down into a weekly basis. So it's like 0.5% to 1% returns a week paid out every week is what we're getting through Songbird right now, which is Flare. And then when these other protocols come out, it's going to be stacked on top of that. So, it's not like Flare is just all, concept. Like it is actually, we're using it right now. Like I'm making money from Songbird passive income delegations right now, right? Like I'm getting that every week. I'm claiming my rewards for that. And you guys probably are too, if you've got Songbird. So yeah, it's making people good money right now. Like it's a very legit thing. And then, you stack that on top of the other passive rewards that we're getting that I'm teaching my students how to use, which is Stellar. So Stellar is kind of the other main one. So on Stellar, we have a stable coin, that a USDC backed stable coin that makes 9% a year. So that's compared to, having your money in the bank when you're making less than 1% a year, or far less than that, right? So 9% a year average percentage yield. That's what APY is. 9% on a stable coin, meaning it's backed 1-to-1 with the dollar, so you're not getting the volatility of the market. Whereas with Songbird, we have that 30% APY, but we're also investing in the idea of Songbird going up in value within itself. So there is that underlying risk of the volatility of the asset. Whereas with the stablecoin on Stellar, it's less risky in that sense. It's more of a safe approach to passive income because you're locking in that 9% a year APY, but it's tied to the dollar, so you're not having to worry about the volatility of the market in like bear markets like this. So that's what I introduce people to as kind of like the most safe, like easy, basic way to generate passive income. And the other thing that's great about that that stablecoin on Stellar, YUSDC, is that you are not giving up ownership of your token like you are on proof of stake networks. So when it comes to other passive income blockchains that I don't use and don't teach about for particular reasons, in the staking protocol, like, I don't know, Cardano, Polkadot, you name it, any crypto.com, any staking proof of stake crypto, you're giving up ownership of your tokens, meaning they're no longer in your wallet. You don't see them in your wallet. And oftentimes you have to lock up those tokens in a pool for a particular period of time, meaning that if you want the passive income, you can't even get your tokens back when you need. So one of my favorite things about the protocols that I'm teaching when it comes to passive income is that with both Songbird and with these yield tokens, YUSD and YXLM on Stellar, you're able to maintain control and sovereignty of your assets and not have to give up those coins and stake them somewhere, right? Even liquidity pools, you have to give up temporary ownership of them and stake them in a decentralized space. Or, you're staking them on a centralized space, which is even worse, like crypto.com. To me, not a good idea, because not only are you giving up your tokens, but you're giving them up to a centralized group that can freeze them or take them or do whatever. So to me, the protocols that I teach with Songbird and with Stellar are like the most optimal kinds of DeFi that are available at the moment, because you maintain ownership of your tokens. You see them in your wallet, and you're getting the airdrops every day, every week, even every hour with some of them. If you're getting the Aqua rewards, those are coming in every hour. So yeah, Armando says, yeah, I'm used to the ETH projects. What project is that on Stellar? So this is YUSDC and YXLM on the Stellar network. And so YUSDC will get you 9% a year. YXLM will get you, I think it's about 5% a year. And that one is a little less than the stablecoin because you're also betting on Stellar, right? So if you have XLM, you might as well have it in YXLM and be making that 5% a year paid out every day. You're getting that fractionalized, 5% literally every day in your wallet. So so those are like super dope, and they're also like the YUSDC is backed 1-to-1 by USDC, which is backed 1-to-1 by the US dollar, and USDC is like the best stable coin out there right now. Like if you've heard about like Luna and Tether, like stable coins you have to be very careful which stable coins you're using. Because there's different kinds. There's algorithmic ones. There's ones that are actually backed 1-to-1. With the whole Luna fiasco, that was an algorithmic stablecoin, so it was not actually backed. So you want to make sure that your stablecoin is actually backed and that it's from a reliable group. And so USDC is the most reliable stablecoin across the board. Like pretty much anyone will tell you that who's in the crypto space. And YUSDC is the yield version, and this is made by Ultra Stellar, which is the same group that makes the Lobster wallet and that makes Stellar X liquidity platform and these other institutional platforms. So they're trustworthy, in my opinion. I've vetted them. They're not like some random podunk company. It's literally the team that's making the Lobster wallet. That's making Stellar X and these various platforms. And I'm pretty sure they actually have funding from Stellar as well, like foundational funding from the Stellar Development Foundation. So yeah, that's my recommendation. Like if you're wanting to get into crypto and you want to start generating passive income, what I teach people is that lowest risk option is those stable coins, because you're not dealing with the volatility. Or I should say the stable coin and then the YXLM. So YUSDC and YXLM, because you're not getting the volatility on the USDC and you're maintaining sovereign ownership of your assets. You have the keys, they're in your wallet. So to me, the sovereignty is like one of the most important things in the space is, how sovereign is your money actually, right? And when we have money in the bank, when we have money in PayPal, when we have money on the crypto exchanges like Uphold or Coinbase or crypto.com, any of those places, bank, PayPal, exchanges, it's not safe because they can whoever, right, can freeze, can can just say that you can't pull money out today, too bad. Like, what do? That's what happened to people in Canada and Ukraine when they went to go get their money, and either the government or the company, or the government telling the company, freezes their assets, and all of a sudden you've got no money because you left all your money with some centralized group that doesn't actually care about you. Well, you're shit out of luck, right? Like, so so don't leave your money with groups that don't care about you. Put your money where you actually own it, where it's sovereign, where you have the keys that are the only way to access that money, right? So when you have a crypto wallet, the only people that can access your money are the people that have your private keys. So make sure you're the only one with your private keys, right? Besides like the people you trust most, the people, your family or whatever. But, you're not giving your private keys out to the bank. You're not giving it out to, PayPal. When you have your money on crypto.com or Uphold or Coinbase, they own it. They have your private keys, and it's literally in their terms and conditions that they can go and take your money if they go bankrupt. They can use your money that you have in there and just take it. So again, I recommend get your money out of the banks, get your money out of PayPal, get your money off the crypto exchanges, put it in a private wallet. If you don't want to deal with the volatility of the markets, put it in a yield stable coin like YUSDC on the Stellar network. And if you want to know how to do all this, that's exactly what I coach people on. This is like I walk you through step by step how to do all this stuff. I hold your hand through it. We do weekly coaching sessions where you can ask any questions you want. I'm in my private chat with my students every day answering questions. So if that's something that interests you, just go to my website. I've got the link down below, and you can book a free call with me, and we'll chat about basically what your goals are, if what you're trying to do is a good fit for what I'm teaching, and most of the time it is, and we'll get you all set up and get you in the program and get you onboarded onto these new financial systems so that you can start taking advantage of it now and not wait until it's too late and you went, oh fuck, like, oh man, I should have done it back then, right? Like when not everyone was doing it at the same time and the opportunities weren't there, because these opportunities, as far as the investment opportunities and also the passive income, they're not going to be around forever. So the longer you wait, the higher the chances that you're not going to be getting the same kind of wealth that you would have if you had initiated and taken that risk and that had the courage to go out there, which is really what it takes, I think, for people, is to like, for people that are on the edge, it's takes that courage and having that help, having that assistance, having a coach, whether it's me or it's someone else. If you've got a friend that's a coach or someone that, is more tiered to what your goals are, do that. Like, do whatever you're feeling guided, whatever that person, that course, whatever. But like, it's important to, I think, to educate ourselves now, because in 5 years, it could be too late. And, I'm not trying to scare anyone as far as like saying that if your money's in the bank, it's going to like get frozen for sure or be taken. But I think, it's definitely one of the timeline possibilities that with that black swan market crash, banking collapse, optimally we're on a slightly more smooth timeline where there doesn't have to be a collapse. But even in that case, the opportunity is not going to be the same 5 years from now as it is right now, most likely. So not your keys, not your crypto, says Angelito. Yep. That's the phrase. Armando says, it's crazy to see all the potential negatives actually happen right before our eyes these last 6 months, right? But that's why we prepared for it, right? Like, that's why I've been saying for over a year now, prepare for the crash, right? Like, invest, but also prepare that, both the traditional markets and crypto are going to come down, right? And you kind of got to figure out, like, even though crypto is going to come down with the other markets as it's happening, what's going to be the thing that rises from the ashes as the phoenix? That's what you got to pick. Is Chase Bank going to rise from the ashes and be the new decentralized financial system? I really doubt it. So if you're still keeping all your money in Chase, like, I don't know. Well, I wouldn't do that. Or Wells Fargo or like whatever. Like, is that who you want to give your energy to? So to me, it's like, I'm all in crypto, and I'm all in the volatile cryptos, right? Like my risk is high in that sense, but it's because I'm so confident with it. Like 90% of my net worth is XRP. I pretty much have nothing in the bank. I pretty much have nothing in PayPal. I pretty much keep everything sovereignly in my private wallets where I own it, because I've watched so many of my friends get their PayPal shut down, get their bank shut down, have weird stuff happen, not be allowed to use various platforms, not be allowed to take donations for their shows, things like that. So that's, it's like, where do you want to put your energy, the new system or the old system? And it might all come down at the same time for a minute, but like, what's going to rise from the ashes, right? That's what you got to figure out. So yeah, like as far as like Joel says, fiat broke, crypto rich. Yes, pretty much. But like that's because, we believe in it that much. That's why. And that's where, if you're not like, if you don't want to invest, those stable coins are really awesome, because you get the security of having your US dollar on the blockchain where you own it. No bank can freeze it, but you're not investing in an asset that could potentially be volatile, go up or down with different market conditions. You guys want to talk about like Solo and Core and stuff? Talked a little bit about Stellar. Let's talk about Solo and Core. I'm going to pop on over here. Okay, so one of the other main platforms that I'm using right now and that I'm teaching my students is the Sologenic decentralized exchange and NFT marketplace. Okay, so this is, if you go to sologenic.org, we'll show you what it looks like from the beginning. Sologenic.org, you click Access DEX right here on the bottom left. It'll bring you here. So this is a decentralized exchange and NFT marketplace that is built on the XRP ledger, right? Many of you are familiar with this. Sorry for the redundancy, but for those that are not, I want to explain it. So you can have currencies that are created on the network of other currencies. So this is built on the XRP ledger. Shiba was built on Ethereum, kind of just to relate it. Like you can have a currency that's minted or built on another cryptocurrency network, a blockchain network. And so this is built on XRP, and so it has all the superpowers of XRP, the lightning fast settlement, the near zero fees and all that stuff. But what they've done is they've taken it to kind of another level, and they have a full decentralized exchange with multiple assets and an NFT marketplace that is going to compete with the biggest NFT marketplaces, and already is, like OpenSea and Rarible and things like that. And that's because there's none of the funny business that's going on with the Ethereum and like OpenSea related marketplaces. So like I have people hit me up quite often that are artists that are trying to figure out like, hey, I'm an artist and I'm selling my art physically right now, but I want to get into NFTs, and like, what's the best way without having to, get a whole team and do all this stuff. And what I tell people is this is the best place, both as a beginner learning and also as a professional. This is going to only grow and expand and become more popular to the masses. So I would recommend just fiddling around on here. You can mint your own artwork pretty easily. You just basically connect your wallet and all this stuff, and then it's pretty straightforward once you have the understandings of how the blockchain works. So as an investment, I think Solo is, well, I'll just say it's one of my top investments for sure, top 5, give or take the day, where it's at in my portfolio. But this is what we're looking at right now is the Solo XRP chart. So this is Solo relative to XRP. So this is one of the ways that we're making passive income in my coaching program right now, because you, just by holding this Solo token, every month get an airdrop for this other token called Core, which is another one of my top 5, really top 3 now, tokens. Actually, like right behind XRP, it's consistently one of my biggest holdings. And so basically by holding XRP, you know, if you were in XRP a while ago, you got this solo token for free. So that was already a free airdrop, right? If you were watching my channel a couple months ago, you got that for free if you were watching my info. And then by holding the solo token, now we're getting Core for free. So that's like 2 free, you know, systems of there's just two free like checks basically. You know, if you think about like getting a stimulus check in the mail, it's basically like we got 2 stimulus checks in crypto for holding XRP. So aside from the DeFi stuff that we're talking about, there's all sorts of ways that money is being made in the crypto space, even in the downturn of the market that we're in. And so, like I said, holding solo, you get the Core token every month airdropped. And then Core, by holding Core, they're going to have their own airdrops that are going to last, I think it's like 3 years of airdrops by holding the Core token that starts next year. So this is just a way that we just keep compounding the money, right? So it's really like if you're not in this space, you're losing out on a lot of money. You're losing out on a lot of opportunity. Because there's just so much from the investments themselves going up to the passive income opportunities through the decentralized finance from Songbird, Stellar, and others, to the airdrops through platforms like this and others. There's so much opportunity, and that's while things are all down, right? So my plan is I'm going to keep holding this, and I kind of use Core, XRP, and Solo as my like trading pairs as well. So I'll practice my trading in and out of these pairs because I really value all of them. So that's one of the tips I teach my students too, is like a good way to practice trading is on tokens that you already support and value rather than something random. And that way, if anything goes wrong and you mess up the trade, you know, you're still holding the thing that you find valuable in the long term. And it's like, it's kind of just a good way to practice where you're not going to lose out really, unless you just, you know, keep selling at a loss forever, then you will. But, you know, most people won't do that. They're going to, you know, see, you know, whatever. But basically, it's a good way to practice so that you are never stuck with something that you don't care about. And at the end of the day, you still have that asset that you believe in long term. And that's how I feel about all 3 of these, Core, Solo, and XRP. And yeah, I'm stoked to get that next run of airdrops because I feel like that's going to be really big. And I think Core is going to be really big for institutional financing as well. It's being pitched as a layer 1 blockchain, 3rd generation layer 1, which means that it is the, as they say it, the core of new systems that will be built on top of it. So the intention is that other financial use cases will be built on top of Corium, and they give some stuff here at the bottom of use cases. Tokenized securities, which would be, you know, that would be like stocks, right? So that's partially what Solo is doing too, and they're interoperable. Liquidity provider, so there's going to be native staking and liquidity pools and probably a whole ecosystem of decentralized passive income opportunities on Core. So not only are we going to be getting the Core drops and getting free money from those Core drops, which we're getting right now, and then we're going to get more later, but then we're going to be able to take that Core that we got for free and make more money off of it by putting it in these decentralized passive income systems, whether it's the direct staking or it's a liquidity pool or another protocol that they introduce, which my guess is that they're going to be introducing a few more DeFi protocols besides just the staking and the liquidity pools. Stablecoin ecosystem. So they're going to have a stablecoin likely built onto Corium and Sologenic, could even be built directly on the XRP ledger. Interoperable Swift cross-border payments. That's huge, right? Right. The Swift system is what, you know, that's the banking dynasty that we're basically replacing and overtaking with these new systems. Lending platforms, that's big because that's going to mean we're going to have decentralized lending, so you can get loans based on your collateralization instead of you know, having to go to a bank and have a good credit score and get approved by some centralized group. It's just going to be based upon, you know, how much you have staked into the lending platform. Wrapped cryptocurrencies, which makes it interoperable with other platforms. Metaverse applications. Looks like they're going to be working with Sandbox and Meta. That's the first time I've seen that. That's interesting. The Meta part's interesting. Working with Meta. I wonder where that's going to go. I wonder if Meta will turn around and be used for good. Like if it's going to be co-opted. I have faith in Instagram for some reason. Facebook, I feel like, is going away and not going to be around. But Instagram, for some reason, I feel like, for whatever reason, I still get I still enjoy using Instagram, but I don't feel that way about Facebook. I feel like they have different, I don't know, is that just me? I feel like there's like a different inherent energy behind the two platforms, even though they're both Meta owned. Maybe I'm crazy, but I feel like there's something to that. Deep dive Reaper Finance, says Pete. I've heard about Reaper, but yeah, I haven't done a deep dive myself, so I'll have to look into that before I share it publicly with you guys. And then, of course, the NFT marketplace. Wow, they put OpenSea in here. That makes me wonder if OpenSea is going to, maybe instead of directly competing, maybe, I don't know. That's interesting. That's very interesting. Maybe they're just using it as an example. And maybe the same thing with Metaverse, with Meta. Maybe they're just using it as an example, since that's what people are familiar with. Gaming opportunities, DEXs. So, yeah, I think that these probably are examples, and that new alternatives to these will probably be built on Corium. But, yeah, lots of opportunity and money to be made through Corium and through Solo. And, yeah, you can do it yourself. I taught myself. You can teach yourself how to do all this. But if you're struggling and you need that extra help, that's what I'm here for. And that's what my coaching program's for. So we'll walk you through it all step by step, get it all set up for you, do weekly coaching calls so that you aren't hitting any road bumps and you're able to get help every step of the way. And you can find a link for that down below in my description if you want to join that program. Okay, I'm gonna move on to something else, unless you guys have any crypto related things you want to talk about. Otherwise, I'm gonna move into some other fun topics. Is Zum safe? Yes, I use Zum. I love Zum. I think it's definitely safe, and it's my top recommended wallet for XRP. So yeah, Zum is good. It's not a hardware wallet, so you don't have the extra security that you would have by having like a Decent or a Ledger, but it is a very, very secure software wallet that I think will be used very much like PayPal is used by the masses. And the group that's behind Zum is a great group that is working on a lot of other XRP projects. The main guy that's behind it is a good guy, I feel. So I would say yes, they're safe and easy to use. Not just safe, but like really, really easy to use. And that's where you get your Corium and your Solo is through Zum. Or you can. There's other options too, but that's what I use. All right. If there's no other crypto questions, Armando and Zum. Zum. Okay, so if there's no other crypto questions, I have some space stuff to talk about. Space. We can come back to crypto. It's all good. Looks like I'm going to burn my head off, doesn't it? It's pretty far away. Here we go. Did you guys know how freaking big the Andromedan galaxy actually is? Like, I knew it was, coming close. Like they say, we're going to collide with the Andromedan galaxy in in like 3 billion years, I think is what they say. But I didn't realize just like how close it was. So if it was brighter, it would appear this large in the night sky. From the luminosity, we're not able to see it that clearly, but if it was just a little bit brighter, it would literally be that big compared to the moon, which is pretty crazy. So then I was like, okay, how far away is it? I didn't actually know, so I was looking it up, and it's not even that far, like in a physical way. 2.5 million light years, where the diameter of the Milky Way itself is 100,000 light years. So that's only like 20 times, roughly 25 times the amount of the thickness of the Milky Way galaxy to get to Andromeda. Like, that's not very far at all. For some reason, I pictured that it was more like planets, where you have this just like massive, incomprehensible amount of space between planetary bodies. And obviously the space between galaxies is physically bigger than that, but relative to the size of the stellar bodies, I feel like the two galaxies are really close. Like, is that just me? It kind of blows my mind. You're in space right now, Armando? I'm going to go to space after this live stream. He said you thought XUM was a different project. I'm not familiar with just XUM. But when I talk about Zum, it's XUMM, Zum or Zoom. But yeah, it's like, I don't know, it's just way further than, or way closer than I thought. And it makes me wonder from like a spiritual perspective, what is actually happening if the Andromeda galaxy and the Milky Way galaxy do merge. I haven't really heard too many people talk about that on a spiritual level, as far as like what that signifies for like the consciousness. And I just feel like that's such a big, if that's actually going to happen, if we really are going to merge in a few billion years, that's a pretty big deal as far as like consciously what's going on in the experiment that God is playing out. It's just another kind of depiction, but I think this isn't as to scale as this one. But then you have this, which is like all the bunch of different planetary bodies, or not planetary, stellar bodies, that if they were just brighter would be very large compared to the moon. And so this is Andromeda right here, and then I think this is the Crab galaxy, or no, Crab Nebula there, some other nebulas, a comet. But yeah, it was just tripping me out. Anyways, that's all I really wanted to share as far as space. Well, guys, it's been a good stream. I'm getting a little warm in my studio here. Not quite enough airflow. So I think I'm going to bounce on out of here now. And it was a pleasure hanging out with you guys. I hope to be doing more videos a little more frequently, getting back into that flow again. If you guys want it. Like, I mean, I'm here to hang out and chat if you guys want to hang out and chat and talk about, stuff, but it's always a good time, and I always put too much time in between when I do videos. I get so caught up in other life stuff, and as a Gemini, I'm just like, my attention span is not the most streamlined, so I kind of bounce from thing to thing, and but I always come back here and check in and make some content, hang out, and I'm grateful for you guys in this community. And if you want to join the coaching program, Joel Angelito in the chat is one of my assistant coaches. He's been doing a great job. If you want to join the program, you can click the link down below, and you can find out, what it's all about, and talk to me on the phone, book a free call with me, and we will get you enrolled and set up with these new financial systems and generating passive income. And that way you are prepared for, what's going on in the world and all the craziness out there, because it is a pretty it is a pretty wild earth that we live on today, and I'm looking forward to the chaos that we're experiencing in the world falling into a a divine order, right? Like that's a word you kind of have to be careful of, because if you say order, people assume New World Order, but I think that there is really such thing as divine order and divine law. The nature of the universe, just like a torus is, it is a torus and it is governed by divine order and divine law. And I think in that same aspect, we're moving as an earth more into that divine law and divine template of what life on earth is supposed to be. And we're living it too, right? Like all of this is the divine template. Like everything we're going through, all this crazy experiential, catalysts that we're going through every day, all the pain, all the suffering, like it's not like that is not God, right? Like that's all part of God too. Demons are part of God, right? Like everything, every energy is part of the one. And so I think that's important too, to remember that we're not trying to escape the world that we're in. We're trying to be present with it, be intimately present with it, to the point that we can shift it to what we would like to see, for what we would like to create in the most positive service to other senses. So with that said, love you guys, and I'll catch you later. Peace out.